All right, welcome to the show. This is Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. Johnny North is here with me. RingsideReport.net is our website. We got a lot of WWE to cover here over the next hour. We are here each and every week on your radios, on your YouTube, on your Facebook, live on your podcast. We're everywhere, and we're online at RingsideReport.net. We're going to be covering some WWE here, the AEW portion of the Ringside Report network. The AEW Double or Nothing stuff is going to be on YouTube and on the website. So if you want our preview for AEW's Double or Nothing, go check out the latest episode of Dave and Johnny Live. And if you want our watch-along for AEW, go check out our YouTube channel, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. And when you subscribe, click the bell so you get notified every time that we are on. We're going to be on live, AEW's Double or Nothing. Check it out, ringsidereport.net. The video will be on the front page there for you to check out. So we're sticking to the WWE here on Wrestling Uncensored today. And Big Johnny, we've got a lot of WWE to talk about, a lot of things happening in World Wrestling Entertainment. We have NXT In Your House coming up. That's the next event, an In Your House, which I think is kind of cool, June 7th. And then June 14th, that's the next big one, WWE Backlash. Backlash will be taking place on June the 14th, and we have 4 matches already announced here for the card. It will be Edge and Randy Orton in the greatest wrestling match ever. You see it there. That's what it's being billed as. The greatest wrestling match ever. Edge versus Randy Orton. Somehow, they're not only saying it on TV, but in the graphic, it's being billed as the greatest wrestling match ever, even though it hasn't happened yet. We'll talk about Edge and Randy in a little bit. Drew McIntyre will be defending the WWE Championship against a guy who Johnny North has been campaigning for a long time, Bobby Lashley. I'm sure Johnny's very excited that Bobby's finally getting the WWE title shot. I don't know who's more excited, Johnny North or MVP. Braun Strowman will be defending his Universal Championship in a 2-on-1 handicap match against Miz and Morrison, which, I mean, you could tell I think it's ridiculous. We'll talk about that. And Asuka will be wrestling either Nia Jax, Natalya, or Charlotte Flair. Asuka will be defending her Raw Women's Championship. Now, Asuka will take on the winner of Charlotte, Natty, and Nia. Triple threat match happening this coming Monday night on Raw. Let's start with the greatest match ever, though. I mean, can it be the greatest match ever? Is there any way, in your mind, Big Johnny, that this match, Edge versus Randy Orton, in 2020, when Edge is in his late 40s, Randy is, 40? Something like that, right? How old's Randy?
Roughly.
Randy is 40. On the nose. Boom. Turned 40 on April 1st. Edge is 46. So Edge and Randy, at this stage in their careers, after the match we saw at WrestleMania, which was not very good, can this match possibly be the greatest match ever? Is it possible?
Well, there's a difference between what we think is the greatest wrestling match ever and then what WWE propaganda will tell you is the greatest wrestling match ever. Because if they just say it's the greatest wrestling match ever, then they'll just say that. It doesn't matter if it is or not. It's just what they believe. I mean, obviously, a lot of people are going to have different opinions on this because wrestling is very subjective, and everyone has a different opinion what's the greatest wrestling match ever. So I think it's very tough for them. I said this before. I thought the writers put them in a spot to bury them because it seems like it's a no-win situation for them.
Were you as shocked as I was when, look, they showed the graphic on SmackDown I couldn't believe it. Now, a couple weeks ago, Charlie is interviewing Edge and Randy, and she's like, well, Randy challenged Edge to a straight-up wrestling match, not a brawl, not a no DQ match. As Randy called it, it was a straight-up wrestling match, and Edge seemed scared to accept. And then Charlie says in the ring 2 weeks ago on Raw, well, I don't know if it's going to happen, but if it does happen at Backlash, it will go down as the greatest wrestling match ever. And then Raw went off the air with that statement. Let that stink just permeate in the atmosphere. And then the next week, this past week on Raw, she said it again. Talking about this match, saying, oh, Edge and Randy Orton. She started Raw with it. So they end Raw last week with it. This week they start Raw with Charlie saying the same thing. Edge and Randy Orton could be the greatest match ever. Randy Orton shows up for the interview segment in full gear. Edge was wearing a t-shirt and jeans. Randy was in full wrestling gear. Why was Randy in underwear and a little cut-off t-shirt? Or was it the vest? I forget. But he was in his gear. Why? Why was he oiled up? They didn't even fight. Why was Randy in full gear? Really, Randy? Oil? Tanner? Full gear? You take niacin too? Come on, man. Seriously? Nothing, John?
Ready.
Nothing, always, John? You got nothing for that?
You should always be ready, no matter what.
Get out of here. So Edge just screwed up. Edge was in the wrong. He wasn't ready.
I think Edge wasn't expecting to wrestle. We're just expecting Edge to accept the challenge, right?
Yeah, so why was Randy...
You never know.
Fine. So Randy's in full gear for no reason. And they cut a promo, and then Edge comes out, and he cuts a really good promo. Now, I want to play a little bit of Edge from Monday Night Raw, because, you know, as much as we're going to make fun of this being the greatest wrestling match ever, as ridiculous as that graphic is that they showed on SmackDown, calling it the greatest match ever, I mean, there it is again, for all of you watching us, the greatest wrestling match ever. Edge versus Randy Orton at Backlash. That's what it's being called. Now, as ridiculous as all that is, the promo on Raw from Edge was very good. And he said some things about Randy Orton that were very true that I've been saying for many years. Let's hear from the Rated R superstar.
Yeah, you stand there with that stupid smug smirk. This is just a paycheck to you. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You are quite possibly the most talented person I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. But this isn't the life you wanted. This is the life you were handed. This was your backup plan. So yeah, you're different than all those other superstars in the locker room. You are. Because you don't care. You didn't go to bed every night as a kid dreaming of becoming WWE champion like I did. You didn't save up your allowance all month so you could go to the show at the end of the month like I did.
Because Randy got free tickets.
You didn't cry the night you won the Intercontinental Championship like I did, because to me, that meant I was on a path to becoming one of the best workhorses in the history of this business.
The passion there from Edge. I loved it. You could feel it. You love the, bringing some truth in there. Edge loves Randy. Randy's dedicated most of his life to the wrestling business, but, he didn't grow up wanting to do this. This wasn't everything he wanted in his life like it was for Edge. Randy didn't have to save up his allowance to get tickets for the matches because his dad was Bob Orton, and, he was able to get a backstage pass. So, some good, passionate stuff there from Edge. He talked about how Randy Orton never came back from a career-ending injury, and he wouldn't because he's not as passionate as Edge is about professional wrestling. I thought that was a really good promo from Edge. Randy really didn't say much. right? It was mostly Edge doing the talking, and then Randy's like, give me an answer for the match, and Edge is like, yeah, I accept. And then that was the end of the segment on Raw this week. But I like the promo, and the promos between Edge and Randy, the story that they have told has been very good, right? Like, the build to their Mania match was excellent. All that stuff, really good. Randy doing the promos with Matt Hardy and Beth Phoenix and Edge coming back and all that stuff was really good. Randy's promos were really good. And this promo was also very good. But the greatest match ever? Why would they set this up? It's like saying, you are going to go to a comedy show and you will see the funniest jokes you have ever heard. No matter how funny that comedy is, you're going to walk away saying, I don't think that was the funniest joke I ever heard. No matter how good the match is, you're going to walk away saying, well, it wasn't the greatest match ever. They're setting them up for failure. I don't understand why they would do this to Edge and Randy. Unless they're just, like you're saying, burying them and punishing them for how bad their match was at Mania. This is just a rib. This is a prank on Edge and Randy by Vince McMahon, who thinks this is just some funny joke. That's the only explanation I could come to. If you just said Edge and Randy are going to wrestle again, Randy wants to have a wrestling match because he doesn't think Edge can beat him. Edge knows that he's still got what it takes. He's not just a brawler. He knows that he can beat Randy in a fight and in a wrestling match with rules. That's all you need for this. You don't need to say, well, by the way, it's going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. Remember Shawn and Undertaker at WrestleMania? Forget that. This is going to be better. Remember Shawn and Brett at WrestleMania? Forget that. Do you remember Brett and Owen at WrestleMania 10? Forget that match. Edge and Randy at Backlash 2020 will be the greatest wrestling match you have ever seen. Remember Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada? Garbage compared to this. Do you remember that great Young Bucks versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega match? Trash compared to Edge and Randy at Backlash. And it probably won't even be the main event. Right?
Well, besides the fact that maybe they're punishing them for whatever reason they have, this match needs a hook, right? Because if it's just Edge, Randy Orton in a singles match, it's hard for people to really get excited for that. Because it's been there, done that for them, and you just went from a last man standing match, and then you're trying to sell a one-on-one match just straight up. It's kind of hard to get excited for that, especially on this kind of pay-per-view where it just feels like it's a bunch of rematches or a bunch of matches that don't really mean much. So to give it that tagline, at least it adds some interest. Granted, it's probably maybe the wrong interest, but at least it adds more interest than you had beforehand.
Put him in a cage. This feud needs a cage. Instead of doing greatest match ever, it's a steel cage match. Last time, Edge, last time you dragged me around the building and you used the elements and we went all over the place. I don't want that. I want to be locked in a cage with you, and I'm going to show you who the real man is. Lock him in a cage. That's what this match should have been. Steel cage match. That way you don't bury the guys going into it. Steel cage is easy. Yeah. You easily do a steel cage match here. I don't understand why they haven't thought of this. This feud calls for it. Especially in the rematch after Mania where they went all over the place. Now you confine them to the ring. It's logic. But no, they're just going to have a straight-up wrestling match that will be the greatest wrestling match ever. You've seen Kurt Angle in his prime? Forget that guy. He was terrible compared to what this will be. Bret Hart will be weeping at how great this match is. He'll be calling both men to congratulate them. Ric Flair will be on his feet, saluting the greatness of this match. Stone Cold Steve Austin will cry tears. Undertaker will come back out of retirement to try and top it. AJ Styles will bow down and give up his title as the greatest. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine how they will make this the greatest match ever. I believe it will be very good. I hope it'll be very good. I mean, I thought their match at Mania was going to be very good, and I was wrong. I was sorely disappointed. I'm hoping this is better than that. I don't think it will even be the greatest match that Edge and Randy have ever had against each other. I think that they have wrestled matches when they were both in their prime that will be better looking back than this match will be coming up at Backlash, right? I think it's safe to say, that match that Edge was talking about where he beat Randy for the Intercontinental title, safe to say that that match will probably be better than what we're going to see at Backlash. But they're calling it the greatest match ever. It won't even be the greatest Edge and Randy match ever. Nor should it be at this point in their careers. And if they can pull it out, well, good on them. Congratulations. If this is their Shawn and Taker, hey, then I'll be here saying, well, I thought Edge and Randy would have an okay match, but it was the greatest match ever. Oh, my God. I'll give them all the props in the world, but that's not going to happen. We all know it. It could be very good. It may be match of the night. It could easily be best match on Backlash. But greatest match ever? No other match has ever been billed that. Unless, they were talking about it in hindsight. Right? You've never had a match where they said, this will be the greatest match ever. You've had matches where it's like, I think we just witnessed the greatest match of all time. That's happened numerous times in the WWE. So many times where you think, yeah, didn't you just say that last week? But billing a match as the greatest match ever, it's just baffling. I don't understand what their reasoning is behind it. And you're trying to explain it to me, Johnny North, as, well, you got to sell it somehow. This is not the reason. This is not the way to do it. This is not the reason to have this match. The greatest match ever? Come on now. It doesn't make sense. Would you want your match to be billed as the greatest match ever? Like your next match, I'm going to say it's going to be the greatest match ever. Would you want that pressure on you?
I wouldn't want that, but again, that's how they book it, though. I don't think this is what Edge and Randy Orton want, but this is what they're told to do. And if you hear that, they haven't really said it, too. It's only been Charlie saying it and commentators, so, everyone else is hyping this to be the greatest match ever. Edge and Randy are just going in there to say they're having a match. That's it. Regardless of what, people are saying behind their backs. Because they know, whatever. Who cares about that crap? It's like what Edge said. He's not there to hunt down Randy Orton. He was done with Randy Orton. But, WWE hypes up whatever they want to hype up.
Yeah, and I think it's very telling that neither Edge nor Randy have said that it's going to be the greatest match ever. They're not saying greatest match ever because they know that's ridiculous. WWE doesn't know it's ridiculous. Everybody else in the world watching knows it's ridiculous, but WWE hasn't figured it out. Will Edge win again? What do you think? What's your feel on that a few weeks out now?
Right now, as it stands, I feel like Randy's going to get the win back because I think they're probably going to have another match. Or at least just to make it even, that Randy's just as good as Edge. But yeah, I think Randy's probably going to win as of right now.
Maybe they'll do the steel cage for the trilogy match at Extreme Rules in July. Makes sense, right?
It's very possible. Yeah, I could see something like that. Maybe give them a month off and then do it at SummerSlam, possibly.
Okay. I wonder what SummerSlam's going to look like. You think it's going to be at the PC?
Well, they wanted to do it with fans, so wherever they can do it with fans. I don't think they want the PC. I think they want a better place because I don't think they can get that many people inside of there. So
right.
But Florida is a very good possibility because I don't think it's going to happen in Boston like it's supposed to.
So you think the WWE is going to try and do an arena with maybe 25% capacity, fans in attendance for SummerSlam. So by August, that's where you think the WWE is going to be. And if they do it for SummerSlam, why not do it for Raw, SmackDown, and every other show going forward, right?
You'd like that for Raw and SmackDown? I know we would love that a lot because weekly it's kind of hard to watch every week, some of these matches. But I think they might save it for SummerSlam to make SummerSlam feel special.
I don't know. I think they need a bit of a crowd. Even what AEW does, using some of their roster to fill out the crowd, it just adds so much. It adds so much atmosphere that the WWE is just really lacking right now. Watching Raw and SmackDown and comparing it to Dynamite, there's a vibe on Dynamite. Raw and SmackDown are just dead. It's just dead with no crowd. You know, Billy Gunn and his son there on Dynamite, they're loud, man. They're going at it. They're a good crowd.
Well, Dynamite, they have more than that, too. They have the face heel side, and they have a bunch of other people on other sections, too. So, yeah, they got more noise, and it definitely makes a difference. WWE should have stolen that. They stole all the other ideas. They changed their camera angles like AEW. I don't know why they didn't do this, but I guess they want to do their own thing. It's fine for matches that are good. Like, when we saw Charlotte against, like, Rhea Ripley, that was fantastic. I mean, it would have been better with the crowd, but it was still a great match. And I'm sure if they do AJ Styles against Daniel Bryan in this IC title tournament, that'll be fantastic as well. It's just, it'd be better with the crowd, obviously.
Yeah, and hopefully we see some crowds start to come out here. You talked about WWE stealing something from AEW. You know, something, just one quick thing that I noticed on SmackDown that I would have liked. On AEW, when they start the show, they tell you all the matches that are going to happen on the card, right? Like, they usually start the show, and they'll kind of go to JR and Shivani, and they'll run down the card, and they'll tell you what's going to happen tonight. On SmackDown, they started the show, they told you, like, 2 matches, but then they didn't really run down the whole card. They were just like, yeah, we're going to give you Mandy and Otis against Dolph and Sonya, and then we're going to give you Bayley versus Charlotte. And I was like, okay, cool, but what about Jeff Hardy against Sheamus and AJ Styles versus Nakamura? Is that still happening tonight, or is that next week? And it did wind up happening on SmackDown, but they didn't say it at the top of the show, and I think it would be smart to get people to stick around to give away, you know, all your big matches. Let people know, hey, by the way, keep watching the show because in the main event, it's going to be Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. I found it odd that they started SmackDown and didn't tell you what the main event was going to be when, you know, it was booked last week.
Well, that's it, though. They said it last week, so if you've been watching weekly, you knew that was going to happen. Just when does it happen is the question.
It's easy to just post a graphic. I'm saying they could steal that easily from AEW. I think it would work to keep people sticking around and to clear up what's happening on the show, but whatever. It's not a big deal. Neither is Buddy Murphy or Humberto Carrillo. They wrestled on Raw this week. You know, whatever. Aleister Black and Seth Rollins seem to have something going on. Aleister Black showed up to save Humberto after Buddy was beating him up, and Aleister beat up Buddy a bit, but you know, Seth just kind of walked away and waited for Murphy to escape because I guess he figured Murphy would just escape eventually from Aleister, and he did. I guess we're supposed to understand that Seth doesn't really care about Buddy Murphy, right? He's willing to let him get sacrificed. Seth Rollins talking about sacrifices on Raw. He says after losing to Drew McIntyre, he fell into a dark place. But without darkness, there is no light, and Rey Mysterio has shown him the light. He said what happened to Rey Mysterio when he bashed Rey's head into the ring steps was a sacrifice for the greater good. And then he says, you're welcome to Rey for allowing him to go home and spend time with his family now in recovery, which is kind of weird. And then Humberto showed up and he's like, I love Rey Mysterio. He's my hero. I challenge you, Seth. And Seth's like, no, I'm not dressed to compete. But Buddy Murphy is. And then Buddy Murphy beat Humberto, which, like, great stuff there. But the real thing that upset me on Raw this week was with Austin Theory. Now, that made no sense to me. I didn't understand why Austin Theory would go from one heel group to another. So Austin Theory is with Zelina Vega and Andrade and Angel Garza. And they are the guests on the Kevin Owens show because Kevin Owens is finally back on TV, which was great. And Zelina's like, there are no problems in the group. We're the best. We're the best group ever. Kevin Owens introduces his other guest, Apollo Crews, who storms the ring, and then we have a tag team match play. It's Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens beating Angel Garza and Austin Theory. Crews getting the pinfall on Garza after a sit-down powerbomb. Now, after the match, Garza and Andrade beat up on Austin Theory for some reason. Did you have a reason why they beat up Austin Theory? Was it clear in any way?
Well, they've been arguing for weeks, so I'm not exactly sure why they were arguing. There was some sort of beef, and then that's why I guess it just fell apart.
Yeah, not really a defined story there in any kind of way. Not clear what's going on. They're a group, but I guess they want to break them up. So Austin Theory gets beat up by Garza and Andrade. And then Aleister Black has a match with Murphy for some reason. Now, Murphy is double booked on this show.
It happens.
Murphy wrestled Humberto, and then he wrestled Aleister Black. What do you mean it happens? It doesn't happen. When does it happen?
Yeah.
When's the last time somebody was double booked for no reason?
We saw Andrade and Garza and Theory. Didn't they wrestle the Street Profits 3 times in a row on one Raw? It was for an hour they wrestled in 3 different matches.
Yeah, but it was 3 different kinds of matches. This was unfair. Murphy wrestled Humberto, Aleister Black wrestled nobody, and then he got to wrestle Buddy Murphy, who had already wrestled a match. Why did that happen? It makes no sense. If there's anybody in charge of Raw, they're being completely bad here. They're not running the show very well, right?
Well, the
What's
Aleister
going on
Black
here?
match, the Black match, Black and Murphy, that was confirmed. That was supposed to happen no matter what. The Humberto match, that kind of came out of the blue. That was on the spot, so that's just unfortunate that happened, but it happened.
The Humberto match was first, though.
Right, but because it was just sporadic the way that kind of came together. That just was on the spot.
You're reaching to make sense out of all this, John. You know it doesn't make sense.
No, that's exactly the way it went down.
Terrible. So then Austin Theory, so Aleister Black and Murphy are wrestling, right? Austin Theory is still ringside from the beating that he took from Garza and Andrade. And Theory looks at Seth and he's like, should I join you? Should I help you? And Seth is like, yeah. So then Austin Theory just jumps in the ring and causes Buddy Murphy to lose the match, and he starts beating on Aleister Black. So now Murphy and Theory attack Aleister Black while Seth Rollins just watches. So obviously we're heading towards a Seth versus Aleister match at Backlash, right?
Possibly. I really hope Ray comes back and wrestles Seth. That's what I want to see the most, but
wouldn't hold my breath.
Not 100% sure.
Yeah,
I wouldn't hold my breath either, but that's the best case scenario because that'd be, I think, a good match.
Well, we're going to do Seth and Aleister Black either on Raw or at Backlash. It's going to happen, right? Because something's going on there.
I could see a big tag match, too.
Aleister Black has no teammates. I guess Humberto. But, look, it doesn't make any sense. Why would Austin Theory leave one heel group, the Garza and Andrade and Zelina team, to join up with Seth and Murphy? Why?
Well,
and what happened to the AOP? Are the AOP hurt again? What happened?
Yeah, one of them, I think, tore his bicep. So, yeah, I think they're out for a while now, unfortunately. I think for 9 months again or something. So, that's kind of a bummer. So now he needs to grow up his group.
Why wouldn't Seth keep one of them around while the other one's hurt? Why not keep one around? Does it really matter? That's ridiculous. It's a tag team. Okay, I get it. But are they how long have they really been a team? And they're in a group already with Seth and Murphy. You're telling me you can't keep the guy that's not hurt on TV while the hurt guy is rehabbing his injury? You can't keep that big guy as like a big body for Seth? Because those AOP guys, at least they look intimidating as backup for Seth Rollins. Seth has Murphy, who's intimidating nobody. He's like smaller than Seth. And now here's Austin Theory, who's even smaller than Murphy. He's not intimidating. The guy looks like a babyface. He's like 22 years old. He does a bunch of flips. He's acrobatic. He's a flashy wrestler. When he got beat up by Andrade and Garza, I thought, good, this makes sense. This guy's clearly a babyface. Nope. Next segment, he's with Seth Rollins. And now he's the third banana in the Seth, Buddy, and Austin team. He's the third guy. He's beneath Buddy Murphy. He's helping Buddy Murphy in his match against Aleister Black. No matter where Austin Theory goes, he's feuding with Aleister Black, and he's basically a henchman that Aleister Black kicks in the face. That's Austin Theory's current role on WWE Raw. When he's with Andrade and the Garza team, Angarza as I just called them, when he's with Angarza, he's getting beat up by Aleister Black. And now he's with Seth, and he's also getting beat up by Aleister Black. I think Seth realized that Austin Theory was really good at taking a black mass, so he wanted him on his team. That's the only logical explanation. Seth really enjoys watching Austin Theory take that black mass, so he figures, yeah, I like how Aleister Black kicks Austin Theory. I'm feuding with Aleister now. He'll be my teammate for this feud. What?
Well, Seth just needed to grow his group. That's the main reason I think this happened. And I think they wanted to keep Austin more as a heel because I think they have enough faces on Raw. So Austin's still just going to be in that direction. I thought they were going to write him off Raw the way it was going with him getting kicked out of Andrade's group.
Nope, not getting kicked off Raw. He's with Seth now. I don't know what was worse. That or the Viking Raiders, Street Profits, axe throwing segments.
That was worse. The axe throwing was way worse. That was like as bad as the Bailey This Is Your Life thing. That was really bad.
Oh, John, you didn't like that? You don't have a reasonable explanation as to why they're doing basketball games and axe throwing segments between the Viking Raiders and Street Profits? Completely killing any kind of credibility or seriousness for the Viking Raiders that you thought that they had. Just making them look like total goofs. Total comedy act. There go the Viking Raiders.
I feel it's just, they've done this before in the past where instead of having matches, they have like these stupid competitions. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle's done it. Triple H, Scott Steiner's done it. This is the way the tag teams are doing it, unfortunately, doing different sports. This was just bad, though, the way it was presented, where you had a bunch of people. They had more fans for this than they do at the wrestling shows. That was really stupid. And then with the cops at the end, absolutely atrocious. The fact that this aired, it was a slap in the face to a lot of fans watching television.
It was really bad. I couldn't believe it was on Raw. I was like, this is what they're putting out? The lady cop who's like, Ivar, I think you're cute, so you're going to get away with throwing an axe on my windshield. Like, what? And you're right, there were more fans for that than the shows, right? All the Vikings there? There's more fans for that. So we're to believe that, hey, it's more important to have people watching the axe throwing than the wrestling matches.
Honestly, I thought the Trailer Park Boys were going to show up because the cops seemed like that stupid. Like, just absolutely ridiculous that you have cops like that.
It was Officer George Green. That would have been better. At least I would have enjoyed it. I've been like, that's George Green. Jeez.
It would have been nice.
It would have been nice to see George Green or that other cop who was with Randy there. You know? What was that? What was his name? Ted. Yeah, Ted. Oh, Ted. All right, Big Johnny. We're going to talk about Bobby Lashley when we come back. I think Bobby Lashley wants to kill Drew McIntyre. We'll talk about that. He said some crazy things on Raw this week. We'll also talk about SmackDown, everything that happened there. Charlotte Flair losing And, Charlotte's kind of on a losing streak here. We're going to talk about that and what's going on with Charlotte Flair and her weird promo on Raw. And a lot more when we come back. It is Wrestling Uncensored. Short pause for the radio side. Stay with us. We're still here, John. We are still here. We're not going anywhere. I know Charlotte beat Ruby Riott, but she lost to Bayley, and she's going to lose in that triple threat match, right? She's not winning that. Nia Jax winning that shit, obviously. Right?
Yeah, but who's going to get pinned? Probably the one who gets pinned every week or loses every week.
Yeah, Natty. But we should talk about Natty and Shayna, too. That match was really good.
Yeah, it was good. It seems like Natty's probably going to turn heel, unfortunately, again, but...
Yeah, but that makes her an opponent for Asuka. Asuka's a babyface champion, you know? You want to turn heel if you got a babyface champion.
That's the...
Right? Okay, let's tell you about our friends over at Stitcher. Now, here at the Ringside Report Network, there we go. We've been making podcasts for about 15 years. Many of you have been using Stitcher to stream or download our shows. Wrestling Uncensored, What's Phantom, or Ringside Report MMA. Stitcher offering you the Ringside Report universe as part of their sponsorship of our work, a special offer on the premium version of their service. Now, besides all of our shows, you can listen to over 100,000 podcasts on your iPhone, Android, tablet, PC, Amazon Echo device, or in your car. On-demand, ad-free Stitcher Premium. You get access to Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, comedy albums, and more. It's just $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year. Go to Stitcher.com/premium right now, Stitcher.com/premium to sign up today, and use the special promo code RINGSIDE for a free month of Stitcher Premium, and it'll let Stitcher know that we sent you, and we'll get a little kickback, and we'll keep making shows for you here, and you'll be supporting the Ringside Report Network. So go to Stitcher.com/premium, promo code RINGSIDE for a free month of Stitcher Premium. Okay, John? How you doing so far?
I believe you have IP Vanish next, no?
Do I? Is that what I have next? I don't know. We got a lot of things to get to, John. What do we have? All right. I'll make you disappear. How about that? Now, these days, security on the internet is a concern. Identity fraud, theft, and privacy are preoccupations that hackers are at home with time on their hands, and they're trying to attack you. You need a solid VPN. You need IP Vanish. Now, hackers can get access to all of your stored information, passwords, credit cards. Keep them out with IP Vanish. We're happy to announce that all month of May, IP Vanish is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee policy. This will be an extended risk-free period to allow you more time to evaluate IP Vanish. Now, this is a deal just for the Ringside Report universe. We need you to stay healthy and stay secure. That's why we recommend what we use, IP Vanish. Sign up right now. Go to a browser window and go to vpn.ringsidereport.net. vpn.ringsidereport.net. Sign up to IP Vanish. You need a secure VPN. Let IP Vanish know we sent you. vpn.ringsidereport.net. How about it, Big Johnny? One more.
I believe you have one more, right? Yeah, I was just going to say that.
One more. We're very busy these days. We're very busy. Where? Let's see here. Big Johnny. Let me tell you about our friends over at... Let me tell you about our friends over at Manscaped. I want to get some images here for you. Let me show you what they have. All right? Manscaped. Lawnmower 3.0. Now, see, this is the U.S. Let's go to Canada. Let's go to Canada, baby. Yeah. This is the best for below-the-waist grooming. Now, this is all quality products from Manscaped. It's a Lawnmower 2.0 special. And there's a limited time offer here. Look at this. Free boxers and toiletry bag with the perfect package kit. So get the perfect package kit. You can get all sorts of deals. Or you go to manscaped.com. You pick up any of the products, and you enter the promo code RINGSIDE20 for 20% off your order. No matter your order, whatever you're ordering, RINGSIDE20 for 20% off your order, plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Promo code RINGSIDE20, manscaped.com. Scape yourself. Take care of yourself. Keep yourself clean and neat. You want to stay fresh, like Johnny North. John, you manscape, right? You're a big manscaper. You're a professional wrestler. You're wearing those little trunks. You got to keep everything neat and tidy on your body hair, right? On your man meat. Big Johnny, you know what I'm saying? You talked about this before, John.
Oh, we've talked about this quite a bit. Just want to state, though, I believe the Lawnmower 2.0, that's only in the States. I think Lawnmower 2.0 is for Canada.
You're right. You're right about that.
So no one's confused by that.
Sorry about that. Different
That's
numbers.
all good.
I didn't realize there were different numbers here. Here, 2.0. The Lawnmower 2.0. This is what you need. Get this in Canada. And this is new. I think Manscaped, they are just starting to ship out to Canada, right? So get on it now. I mean, we're part of the new Canadian team that they're bringing out, the Ringside Report Network. So support them, support us, and support yourself, if you know what I mean. Go to manscaped.com, promo code RINGSIDE20.
And when you think about it, that's a pretty sweet deal. You get all that stuff and 20% off. That's a great deal.
A lot of good stuff. Johnny North, you're all about it. I know you're all about it. I'm all about it. We're going to actually be getting our products soon. They're coming in the mail. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to use them. I'm going to tell you all about it. The ball deodorant and all these things. Ball toner. I don't even know what that's for. Soothing and hydrating toner. Oh, my.
I just hope we get to hear your girlfriend talk about it, too.
Take it easy. I don't think that's happening. I do not think that's happening.
Too bad.
Okay, Johnny, should we get back to the action?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, welcome back. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. RingsideReport.net is our website. Go there, check out everything that we do. Johnny North is here with me. You can follow him on Twitter at North Genesis, on Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. You can follow me on all the things at Dave Simon MMA. Don't forget to check out our AEW Double or Nothing watch along on the YouTube channel. Big Johnny. Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, it's going down for the WWE Championship at Backlash. Drew McIntyre wanted some of Bobby Lashley this week on Raw. Drew McIntyre wrestling King Corbin in the main event, getting the win after a Claymore kick. Whatever. Not the best match there. What'd you think of the match?
I actually thought it was pretty good. It seemed like these guys have chemistry. It was just kind of ridiculous that they had Corbin lose on SmackDown. So you had a guy who was coming in losing to face the WWE champion. Like, it was already hard to believe that he was going to win. But he also comes in, he's losing as well. And, like, you think, oh, well, if he's winning in the IC title tournament, maybe he has a shot. They wouldn't job out the IC title tournament contender. But, I mean, yeah, they job out the loser, of course. And just that's what took away from that match. But I thought they had a great back-and-forth encounter. Some great chemistry. I thought there was a really good superplex, by the way, they had as well in the match. I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of the wrestling in that match.
It's just they gave us no reason to care. And you forgot to mention who he lost to in that Intercontinental title tournament last Friday on SmackDown. Elias. You lose to Elias on Friday. No one believes you're going to beat the WWE champion Drew McIntyre on a Monday. No one believes that. So it's just not believable. Drew wanted Lashley to get in the ring right away. Lashley cut a promo before the match. He says that Drew McIntyre is being put on notice. Bobby Lashley is coming for the WWE Championship, and he's going to take it from Drew. And if he needs to pry it out of his cold, dead hands, That's what he'll do. What? Bobby Lashley said basically that he's willing to kill Drew McIntyre to take the WWE Championship from him. I was surprised at the choice of words.
I feel that came from a promo that Drew cut saying that you pretty much have to kill me to beat me for the title. So I think that was why Lashley said that. Either way, it's just to get attention. That's it. Because this match, it's kind of like out of nowhere we're having this match. And for you to care, they're just trying to throw in these like cool little lines to make it seem interesting. But it's hard to believe in Lashley where this title match comes out of absolute nowhere. I want Lashley to win, but it's hard to believe he's just going to win the title in a couple of weeks.
You don't give him a shot with this new Lashley gimmick. He seems to have MVP as his new manager. Lana seems to be getting pushed out of the picture. Lashley's using the full Nelson, which I saw somebody talk about how Lashley was the man to break the Master Lock, and now he's using it as his finish.
That's right, yeah. I mean, that's kind of cool, but it's just too soon. If this was later on, if this was Extreme Rules, possibly SummerSlam, I could get behind it. But the fact that he's with MVP and in like 2 weeks he's getting a title shot, it's just too much.
Yeah, it's not a long enough build where he's getting enough wins and enough time under him where you believe that he might take it away from Drew. But I wouldn't hate it if he did. But I would be very surprised if Drew got such a short title reign now. From everything we're hearing about Drew McIntyre, it seems like they really want to solidify him as a main eventer with this run, and losing so quickly after WrestleMania, 2 pay-per-views later, would not be solidifying him as a top star in the company. So I think Lashley probably loses. It's nice to see him get a shot. I mean, MVP talked about it. It's been, 9 years since he got a title shot? So it's nice that he's getting a WWE title shot, but he probably won't win.
Well, it's like you said, it's nice he's getting a title shot, and I think that's going to be the thing you could take away from that is that, yeah, he's in the WWE title picture again, but he's not going to win this, unfortunately. It just kind of puts him that he can wrestle for the WWE title, but he's not going to be the champion, unfortunately, and that's kind of sad because it's like, well, it's just downhill from there, and he's already kind of going downhill because what are his big wins? He hasn't really got big wins. He beat R-Truth in a nothing match.
I don't think Bobby Lashley will ever be WWE champion.
Oh, that's a miss. That's a sad miss if that's the case.
But come on, man. He's 40? He's wrestling Drew here. I mean, it doesn't look like WWE have big plans for him. I don't think he ever becomes a WWE champion. And we talked about him last week. I think Bobby Lashley, untapped potential. As great as he looks, as great as he is, it's just never fully come around for him as far as being a WWE superstar. And he'll never be WWE champion.
Sad. Terrible. It's just a misuse of great talent, unfortunately. He should at least have one run. I mean, so many people get like 7, 8, 9, 10 runs, like 16 runs. He can't get one? Terrible.
16 runs, that's only reserved for a couple. John Cena and the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And maybe his daughter, Charlotte Flair. She cut a promo this week talking about being the hardest worker on all 3 brands. She's on Raw, she's on SmackDown, she's on NXT. And she is. She was on SmackDown this week. She lost to Bayley on SmackDown. I thought that match was pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right. I was kind of surprised by the ending. I didn't think Charlotte would lose, actually. Or if she'd lose, I thought maybe Sasha would interfere, but mainly Bayley just out-tricked her. That's it, and that's pretty much as clean as you're going to get for a heel versus heel kind of match. And it's just odd because that's it. Bayley wins, and there's no comeback to that. That's it. Charlotte takes the loss, and there's nothing she can do about it. Surprising considering she's the biggest pushed women's wrestler going in WWE right now.
She is, and she isn't. She's being used right now to put other people over while she's strong in NXT. This is Bayley's show. SmackDown is Bayley's show. She needs to look strong on SmackDown. I figured Bayley would win, and I thought it was the right move. I thought it was perfect. I thought it made a lot of sense. And I like that you're building Bayley very strong. I think that's good. She needs to be built strong. And now it just makes the Charlotte Bayley thing even bigger now because Bayley stole a win. You know, she beat her, but she was holding the ropes. She cheated to win. Charlotte, because of the new rules, is only allowed to appear on SmackDown 2 more times in 2020, right? Because she's technically supposed to be on Raw, but she's the NXT champion, so she can go there. So she can go to 2 brands. But she's not supposed to be on SmackDown. So it just makes the next time that Bayley and Charlotte face off that much bigger. I thought it was a really smart move having Bayley go over, especially it being Bayley's show. She's got to win on her own show.
Well, another thing about the rule, it doesn't apply to NXT. It only applies to Raw and SmackDown.
Really? Right. So
Yeah.
anybody can show up to NXT at any time?
Yeah.
Well, that's weird. I don't know about that. Now, I think Charlotte's going to lose on Monday. So I don't know if she's going to take the fall. Natty will probably take the fall. We talked about it there briefly during the commercial break. But, you know, Natty had a good match with Shayna. Shayna put her in her clutch there, got the submission in a submission match. Natty stayed in the ring after the match, and they were putting together the set for the Kevin Owens show, and Natty started smashing apart the set. She was all mad. So Natty seems like she's turning. But Natty, Nia, and Charlotte are going to be in a triple threat with the winner facing Asuka at Backlash for the WWE Raw Women's title. Nia Jax and Asuka already started their feud. Like, Nia and Asuka is the match. I don't really understand why we have to have a triple threat match to name a number 1 contender. Why can't we just say, well, Asuka wants to get her hands on Nia Jax. Asuka wants to beat up Nia Jax for what she did to Kairi Sane on Raw this week. Kairi Sane and Asuka had a championship celebration. Kairi played the recorder and gave Asuka flowers. I thought the celebration was good. What'd you think of the championship celebration, Big Johnny?
I thought it was a horrible way to start Raw with 2 in-ring promos where it's pretty much the same thing. Person comes out, does a promo, gets interrupted, and we saw that twice in a row. I'm like, wow, this is a horrible way to start a 3-hour show. I was not very happy at all, actually.
That didn't start the show. That was like midway through the show.
I'm pretty sure we started with an in-ring promo to start, and then Seth came out afterwards.
Yeah. We started with the Edge Randy thing. And then
that's
Seth,
right. I'm mixing it up.
Yeah, and then Seth came out and did his promo. And then Buddy and Humberto wrestled. And then Liv Morgan did a backstage promo that was just awful. And then Charlotte did an awkward promo in the ring. And then Charlotte beat Ruby Riott for some reason. And then Bobby Lashley and MVP did their promo. MVP trying to convince Bobby Lashley to get a WWE title shot. And, you know, what about Bobby Lashley? What does he keep saying it? When's Lashley gonna... something?
Beat Lashley or something like that?
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. 13 years. 13 years since he got a WWE title shot. Not 9 years. 13 years. Then the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders did the axe throwing. And then it was Kairi Sane and Asuka for the championship celebration. It was like halfway through the show, John.
Yeah, but it's the same thing again. It's just like the other ones. Someone comes out, promo, interruption. That's how we started the show, and then we just do the same formula again. It's just overdone.
Well, Nia Jax comes out, she cuts a promo, says Asuka was handed the title, and Becky's on maternity leave, and it'll only be a matter of time before Asuka is replaced by somebody more worthy, like Nia Jax, which, like, come on now. And then Asuka attacks Nia and bounces her out of the ring. And then Nia, later on, attacks Kairi Sane, and then Asuka finds Nia Jax and kicks her in the head. So there's obviously something going on with Asuka and Nia. Why can't we just book the match for Backlash? Why do we have to go through this Charlotte, Natty, Nia match on Raw when we know Nia's going to win? Why? And
Well,
why not do that match this past week on Raw and then do the Nia Kairi Sane attack next week on Raw? Like, why not start the Nia Jax Asuka feud when Nia Jax actually becomes number one contender for the title? Why do they do this with the Raw Women's title? It's the same thing like they did with Shayna. Like, before WrestleMania and her match with Becky, she attacked Becky. And then they put her in an Elimination Chamber match where the winner faces Becky at Mania, but we all knew she was going to win because the feud was already on. Why do they keep doing this? It's really weird. Why not wait until Nia is actually Asuka's opponent for Backlash, and then you could start the feud, and then Nia actually has a reason to attack Kairi Sane? Why?
I think this might be done to help plant the seeds for Natty in her heel turn, because like you said, it feels like she's turning heel. And this could be what really sets her off in this match when she doesn't win this one. And then you'll probably have Natty and Asuka after Nia. So, yeah, of course it's a foregone conclusion Nia's probably going to win, but you're also building towards the future feud afterwards.
Okay, but why couldn't we wait for the Nia stuff to happen?
Because they needed something to do on 3 hours.
That's the right answer, John. Because they needed something to do, and they didn't really have a good plan. That's what's really going on here. Apollo Crews will wrestle Andrade for the U.S. title coming up on Raw on Monday. Does he have a shot?
I don't think he's going to win, but I think he might get himself disqualified. I think they might do something like that. Because last time they just ended the match because he hurt his knee right. Now he's going to be all upset. And I think he might get too aggressive. They love doing these whole, DQs because you go too crazy. They've done it, the past 2 weeks in tag matches. I could see them doing this match, maybe.
Yeah. Has Apollo Crews won anything in WWE? Has he won a championship?
I don't believe so. But I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I don't think he's won a single thing. Can't they
He's
just
definitely challenged.
Yeah, but they couldn't give him the U.S. title one time? He's never won a championship in WWE or NXT. Never.
I feel against The Miz that was his opportunity. Yeah, maybe even for the IC title. And it felt like he was going to win there. When he didn't win there, it kind of, everything went downhill for him pretty much.
And what? You think Apollo won't win the U.S. title and then Kevin Owens and Andrade will do something and Kevin Owens will take the U.S. title again? He needs that? Why?
Well, when you think about it, that's the top heel champion on Raw against the top face that's not the champion. To me, that makes a lot of sense.
But Kevin Owens is U.S. champion again? I'm just not that into it. It's been done to death. I'm not that excited about it. I'm not excited about Braun Strowman against Miz and Morrison for the WWE Universal title at Backlash. It's a 2-on-1 match where Braun will obviously just win easily, right? He doesn't need anybody to be his partner. He just squashed Miz on SmackDown this week. And then Morrison challenged Braun to a handicap match for the Universal title. So if Morrison wins, Miz and Morrison are both champion, or whoever pins Braun, or it's just so stupid. Again, if anybody was in charge of WWE, they wouldn't allow this to happen. They'd be like, well, no. But there's no general manager to step in and be like, hold on a second, pal. It's not right. That's not fair.
Well, to be fair, Braun accepted the challenge, right? So it's on Braun. He thinks he can do it, so let him do it. And they talked about The Fiend, right? This is obviously just because they don't want to overdo Braun and The Fiend right now. So they need something to fill up the time, and this match pretty much it. Because who else do they have on SmackDown for Braun to face? Really nobody.
That's all this is. It's just buffer in between your next Bray Wyatt match, because I think they're trying to drag it to SummerSlam. So they'll do it again, at Extreme Rules in July? Braun and The Fiend, and then one more time at SummerSlam to end it?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see probably maybe The Fiend win it at Extreme Rules and they have the rubber match at SummerSlam.
Or maybe The Fiend loses somehow at Extreme Rules and then they do a Firefly Funhouse at SummerSlam?
Yeah, I could see something like that. Maybe a no contest at Extreme Rules, and then, SummerSlam, and they just end it.
One of those screwy Bray Wyatt finishes where there's no finish at all, like the Hell in a Cell match with Seth.
They're good for that.
When Seth just hit him over the head with a sledgehammer a million times, and then they just ended the match for some reason with no winner. That was bad. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura wrestled on SmackDown. That was good. AJ beat Nakamura, hit him with the phenomenal forearm. It'll be AJ versus Elias in the semifinals of the Intercontinental title tournament next Friday on SmackDown. And in the other semifinal, get ready for this. Jeff Hardy beating Sheamus this week on SmackDown. And he will take on Daniel Bryan in the other semifinal for the Intercontinental title. That's pretty awesome. Jeff Hardy and Daniel Bryan have wrestled before. I think maybe only once. Last year on SmackDown. Daniel Bryan won, beat Jeff Hardy via heel hook submission. Will Daniel Bryan win again and go all the way to the finals? Will we see Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles at Backlash in the Intercontinental title tournament finals? Will we see Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles? I'm starting to feel like it's going to be AJ Styles in the finals because AJ Styles now officially on SmackDown. He's been traded to SmackDown for future considerations. So somebody will go to Raw at some point and they'll be like, yeah, that was for AJ Styles. If it's somebody like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a jobber, like if it's Miz going to Raw in exchange for AJ Styles, that's not a fair trade. It's got to be a fair trade. How do you make a fair trade for AJ Styles? You send Daniel Bryan over to Raw? Like, what's really a fair trade? If you were going to make a trade for AJ Styles, I think Daniel Bryan is really the only suitable replacement.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan, Sasha Banks, I think, would also be a pretty good trade.
Okay. It's not bad. Not bad. So AJ versus Elias next week. AJ probably wins, although I did pick Elias to go to the finals and win the Intercontinental title. But I think I had him going up against Sheamus. But at this point, AJ's permanently on SmackDown, so I think he's definitely going to the finals, and I think he's probably going to win the whole thing. Whether he's against Daniel Bryan or Jeff Hardy, I'm not sure, but either way, I'm happy. Like AJ versus Hardy or AJ versus Bryan, they're both good matches.
I think I had AJ versus Daniel Bryan, and I really feel it's going to be AJ versus Jeff Hardy after this, but either way, I think we're going to get a good finals. Much better than that Sheamus Elias match that you asked for.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're not getting that. That's not what I asked for, John. I just thought that that's what the WWE would give us because they tend to give us things that we don't want to see. When you said AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, I said, well, that's too much fun. They're not going to let us have that much fun. Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles is also a lot of fun. But hey, maybe the WWE is into giving us some fun matches because they're going to give us Daniel Bryan versus Jeff Hardy on SmackDown next week. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that.
It's great. And I think AJ, you'll be surprised. I think he can pull out a really good match with Elias as well. Because AJ, we've seen this in the past where it's like the match with AJ doesn't seem like it's going to be that good, and AJ can pull out a really good match out of almost anyone.
Of course. It's like that same thing. It's an old wrestling expression. He could have a good match with a broomstick. Elias is that broomstick. AJ Styles could have a good match with, anybody. The Invisible Man. It doesn't matter. It's AJ Styles. He's the phenomenal one. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's a living legend. He's AJ freaking Styles. Gotta love AJ Styles. Good match with Shinsuke this week. I'd be happy to see him as the Intercontinental Champion. I don't know what's going to happen to Sami Zayn when he comes back. Him and AJ Styles doesn't really make sense unless they turn Sami babyface, but I don't know, man. I think Sami Zayn just lost the Intercontinental title, and he may never find himself back in the IC title picture, at least not when he comes back to TV. If he comes back to TV, who knows? Kevin Owens came back. Sami Zayn does not feel comfortable coming back to TV. Kevin Owens, he was injured. He was hurt after WrestleMania. He came back to Raw this week, which is really nice to see. Sami Zayn not coming to WWE TV because he doesn't feel comfortable during the pandemic times to participate at this moment. So he's been stripped of the Intercontinental title. But hey, Roman Reigns was going to be the Universal Champion. He was going to wrestle Goldberg at WrestleMania. That was taken away from him, or he took that away from himself because he's also not participating during these times. And we thought Roman, it was because of his own health, but I read an interview with Roman and he said, no, it's not my own health. It's because I have very, very young children. Like they're, 6 weeks old, 8 weeks old maybe at this point. He's got 2 newborn twins, so he's more concerned about their health because, yeah, for sure, I'd be super worried with a baby that young. If something happens, you get coronavirus, it could be bad for them. So that's why Roman is not around, is because his kids are very young and he's worried more about them getting it, and he doesn't want to expose them, so he's staying home.
Well, that's great that he's doing that. I just feel with Sami Zayn, though, like, I could see him easily come back here and then challenge whoever wins this tournament. And I could see him maybe face the winner at Backlash.
Are you surprised Sami Zayn hasn't come back?
I think this could all just be an angle.
A coronavirus angle? I don't think so. They're keeping him off TV.
Well, it's not,
and as an angle, I don't know, man.
It's not really a corona kind of thing. They can make up some sort of excuse, I'm sure they won't make it corona related. They'll say something else. But I think he could easily come back.
Why is Sami Zayn not on TV, though, John? Why?
Well, he wasn't comfortable at the time.
Right.
So they decided to do this for now, but maybe things have changed.
Well, I think if things have changed, he'd be back at work. But he's not.
Yeah. We could see it. I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. They might turn it into an angle down the road, but I don't think so. I think Sami Zayn is going to be punished for this. I really do. I think Roman might be punished for it as well. The WWE does not look too kindly on their superstars not showing up to work, whether right or wrong, and usually wrong, but that's just kind of how the WWE operates, right? We know how they operate. We know how Vince operates. Vince is always there. And he doesn't understand that you're not.
Well, I don't think this is going to hurt anyone's push in a sense. Roman will still be a top guy. I have no worries about that whatsoever. And Sami was always up and down anyway, so to say that this is hurting his push, he was kind of always in this position anyways.
I don't know. As Intercontinental Champion, this was kind of a big deal for him. Wasn't it the first title he won on the main roster?
Yeah, but he was still not really wrestling. He was still more of a manager. I mean, he won it, but mainly because Nakamura and Cesaro won it for him.
I don't know. Didn't he beat Daniel Bryan at one point? What pay-per-view was that?
That was WrestleMania, but again, I mean, that was a bunch of interference too.
Wait, let me get this straight. Sami Zayn did work WrestleMania, right?
Right, that happened.
But he hasn't worked since.
That's exactly right.
I don't understand. He was comfortable working Mania, but he's not comfortable working any of the other shows afterwards? What's up with that?
Well, Roman worked up to Mania.
But he didn't work
Mania. Just had different levels. Right.
What's up with that? As a hurricane might say. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see. I hope Sammy's back on TV. I want to see him on TV. He's a talented wrestler, and I'm watching SmackDown. And I'm seeing The Miz talk for way too long. And I just need some Sami Zayn promos, some Sami Zayn wrestling. It's what I want to see on TV. Big Johnny North, I want to see you on TV. I want to see you in the ring. But I don't know when. So I guess keep following you on Twitter at North Genesis and on Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. Unless you're in the casino ladder match for AEW, maybe? No?
Well, I don't see me getting across the U.S. border anytime soon, so no.
Yeah. And no matches. Still no matches.
But at least they're still wrestling uncensored every week.
You know it, Johnny. You got that right. RingsideReport.net is the website. Go there. Check out our AEW Double or Nothing watch along. Like this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, like the video. If you're watching on Facebook, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Like the Facebook page. Get notifications every time that we're on by clicking that bell. RingsideReport.net. All the shows are there. Our recap of the Owen Hart Dark Side of the Ring episode on the latest episode of Dave and Johnny Live, as well as our Double or Nothing preview on the latest episode of Dave and Johnny Live, available right now on our YouTube channel and at RingsideReport.net. Of course, the Double or Nothing watch-along, Ringside Report MMA. We talked about John Jones. We talked about Mike Tyson. We talked about Conor McGregor. All the good stuff in mixed martial arts going on Ringside Report MMA. More info for everything we do at ringsidereport.net. Thanks to everybody helping us out on the radio side, and a big thanks to you for listening, super chatting, and watching. For Johnny North, I am Dave Simon, and this has been Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.